It's dawn in Ajamai, a small village on the northern tip of Okinawa, and Fusa is already awake. She's 94 years old. Before the sun fully clears the hills, she steps into her garden barefoot, rolls her shoulders back, and begins a slow, deliberate stretch she has done every single morning for over 70 years. Down the road, a handful of her neighbors, some in their 80s, some pushing 100, are doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, alone but somehow together. You watch a scene like this and you can't help but ask the obvious question. Why does a woman old enough to have lived through a world war move like someone 40 years younger? Why does an entire village seem to age slower than the rest of the planet? The answer isn't a supplement, a diet trend, or a secret only the ultra-wealthy know about. It's something much smaller, much quieter, and something you could start doing tomorrow morning before you even leave your bed. The first piece of this comes from a practice called Reigyo Taiso. It's written with two characters, tai, meaning body, and so, meaning to handle or to manipulate with care. Put together, it roughly means the handling of the body, a structured, gentle sequence of movements designed to wake up every joint and muscle before the day demands anything of you. Reigyo Taiso was born in the 1920s as a national radio broadcast, and remarkably, it's still broadcast today. Millions of Japanese people, from schoolchildren to grandmothers like Fusa, still gather in parks, driveways, and courtyards each morning to move together for exactly 3 minutes. The second concept is ikigai. It's written with two characters as well. Iki, meaning life, and gai, meaning worth or value. Together, ikigai means the reason you get out of bed in the morning. Not your job title, not your to-do list. The actual, felt reason your existence matters today. In the villages where people live the longest on Earth, almost everyone can answer this question instantly. Ask a 90-year-old fisherman in Okinawa why he still gets up at 5 a.m. and he won't hesitate. He'll tell you it's because his grandson is waiting to learn how to mend a net, or because the tide is right, or because his garden needs him. There's no gap between waking up and having a reason to. The third is hara hachi biyu, a phrase passed down for centuries before meals. Hara means stomach or belly. Hachi biyu means 80%, literally 8 parts out of 10. It's a simple instruction. Eat until you are 80% full, not one bite more. It sounds almost too basic to matter. But this one habit, repeated 3 times a day for a lifetime, changes almost everything about how the body ages. Now here's where it gets scientifically interesting. Researchers Bradley Wilcox and Craig Wilcox, working with colleagues at the University of Hawaii and the University of the Ryukyus, spent decades running what's known as the Okinawa Centenarian Study, one of the longest-running investigations into extreme longevity anywhere in the world. Their findings, published in the journal Mechanisms of Aging and Development, showed that Okinawan elders following a hara hachi biyu approach to eating consistently ran a caloric intake around 10 to 20% lower than the rest of Japan, yet showed dramatically lower rates of heart disease, certain cancers, and age-related inflammation. Their bodies simply weren't fighting the constant low-grade damage that chronic overeating creates. At the same time, a separate and equally fascinating body of research was unfolding just north in Miyagi Prefecture. Dr. Ichiro Tsuji and his team at Tohoku University Graduate School of Medicine ran what's called the Osaki Cohort Study, tracking tens of thousands of adults over more than a decade. What they found was that people who engaged in light daily physical activity, nothing extreme, nothing gym-based, just consistent, gentle movement like Reigyo Taiso, had significantly lower all-cause mortality than sedentary people, even after accounting for age, smoking, and existing health conditions. The movement itself wasn't the impressive part. The consistency was. Now compare that to how most of us in the West actually start our day. The alarm goes off, and the very first motion of the morning is a thumb reaching for a phone. Before our feet, even touched the floor, we've already absorbed 20 minutes of other people's opinions, bad news, and notifications demanding a reaction. Breakfast, if it happens at all, is eaten standing at a counter or in a car, inhaled rather than tasted, often well past the point of fullness because we're not paying attention to our body at all. We're paying attention to a screen. And purpose? For most Western adults, the closest thing to an ikigai is a job title. And job titles have an ugly habit of disappearing the moment you retire, get laid off, or burn out. Western culture optimizes mornings for speed. Okinawan culture optimizes mornings for presence. One of those approaches is quietly adding years to people's lives. The other is quietly taking them away. This isn't really about Japan having some mystical advantage. It's about attention. Chronic stress hormones like cortisol spike hardest in the first hour after waking, and how you spend that hour determines how your entire nervous system calibrates for the day ahead. A rushed, screen-lit, undernourished, purposeless morning tells your body it's under threat before 8 a.m. A slow, physical, intentional one tells your body it's safe. Repeated over decades, that difference in signaling is enormous. So here is your first tactic, and it takes less time than making coffee. When you wake up, before you touch your phone, do 90 seconds of slow, deliberate stretching. Shoulders, neck, spine, hips, nothing intense, just movement. This is a miniature version of Reggio Taiso, and its purpose isn't fitness. It's telling your nervous system, through motion, that the day is safe to begin. Here is your second tactic. At your very next meal, eat until you feel about 80% full, then physically stop. Put the fork down, push the plate slightly away. You will likely feel a small twinge of, I could eat more. That twinge is exactly the point. Hara Hachi-Bu isn't about restriction or willpower. It's about ending the meal on intention rather than on autopilot. Do this consistently, and your relationship with food starts to shift from compulsive to conscious. Here is your third tactic, and it's the one that ties the other two together. Before you check a single message tomorrow morning, ask yourself one question and answer it out loud or in a notebook. What is one small thing today that only I can do? It doesn't need to be profound. It can be as small as calling your mother, finishing a project, or showing up for your kids' practice. This is your ikigai in miniature. Not a life philosophy you need to solve today, just a single thread of purpose pulling you out of bed instead of an alarm clock pushing you. None of these 3 tactics cost money. None of them require a gym membership, a green juice, or a wellness retreat in Bali. They require 90 seconds, 1 meal, and 1 sentence, repeated daily, the same way Fusa has repeated her stretch in that Okinawan garden for 70 years. Longevity, it turns out, was never really about a secret. It was about what you choose to do in the first hour of your day, done so consistently that your body eventually stops keeping track and simply becomes the kind of body that lasts. If this video shifted something in the way you see aging, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more on how the world's wisest cultures quietly build long, vibrant lives, subscribe. There's a lot more coming. See you in the next one.